Hello everybody, this is Carla, and this time I'm here with a review for episode 17 of season 2 of Scorpion. This episode is titled Adaptation, and while I quite like the theme of it, the title of the episode it fits very well because they were dealing with adaptation not just in the sense of drug dealers and cacti, but also in the sense of the team of Scorpion itself. So I quite like how they went about the theme. I feel like I would have liked this episode a lot more if it wasn't such a huge step back. I've mentioned quite often in my reviews, I'm sure, how frustrated Walter can make me sometimes. And this was one of those episodes where I just are you serious? Is he actually doing this? Because we're coming off, I know his problems, his issues with Toby aren't necessarily resolved in one episode. I like that. I like that they're still in therapy because really their personalities are bound to clash and Toby can get a little crazy, right? But we're coming off an episode where Toby basically admitted that he's at the happiest he's ever been in his life, right? And we all thought that Walter understood that and maybe was a bit supportive of that. And then, all of a sudden, he's asking him to break up with Happy or he will get fired. I'm like, are you serious? That's not just an insensitive move. That's downright jerk, okay? That's downright douchebag. I can't even, seriously, it's like all the progress Walter has been done is just been slashed down in one episode. In less than an episode. Like in the first 10 minutes it was killed. Just all the progress Walter has been done. Are you serious? Like the one thing you can and should be able to recognize is that when a friend of yours tells you he's at the happiest he's ever been, you don't take away the one thing that has made them happy. That's common sense, Walter O'Brien. That's not even an emotional thing. That's just common sense. And it bothered me so much that they actually had him go and do this. Because, I can totally understand him thinking that, relationships are a distraction and whatnot, and that he needs some to keep focus on the team because I get it. And if this episode had gone the way where they do the mission and then something happens to either Toby or Happy and they get distracted, and then Walter can use that as an excuse, but nothing happened in between this episode and the previous one. Nothing happened other than Toby telling him that he was the happiest he's ever been. That's all that happened. Nothing happened in that case, and nothing happened in between. So what triggered Walter to all of a sudden want his friend to not be as happy as he just said he was? It's just, I'm sorry that I get so, gung-ho about this, but it really bothers me when they make Walter, go all the way back with no reason at all. If something had happened to either of them, or if they had jeopardized the mission or something, then I can see Walter being like, no, okay, you need to break up. In that sense, if either of them were in danger, or if one of the missions were in danger, but not just out of the blue. That's just totally incongruent with the progress that Walter has been making. So yeah, that really bothered me. Another thing that bugged me is okay, yeah, you want to bring down a slew of drones, one of which is armed, apparently. You want to bring them all down. And obviously you want this to be a constant thing, right? Because I can't even imagine that it would be one time that they're just okay, let's bring down this fleet of drones and then just let all the other ones in the future pass. Then they go and make this, pulse gun, right? And they make it tiny. Obviously, a pulse has to be focused or anything. They could have used a bigger antenna or something. they make it tiny, so they can only bring in one drone at a time. What was the Mexican police thinking? Were they just going to have someone stationed right there in that one spot the entire time? What happens when the drones change course? You know, I mean, the whole point of that area, of going through that kind of air road or whatever, was that there was no vigilance. So what are they going to have? Vigilance there 24/7, just waiting for a drone to fly by? It's unsustainable. It's kind of stretching it too far. So I don't really understand what the point of the pulse gun was. They could have made some kind of, I mean, I know I'm stretching things because I don't know anything about electronics, but they could have made some kind of pulse field or something so that you don't have to have a person standing there every time a drone goes by. So that kind of made no sense. It was kind of a temporary solution for like one shipment of drugs, but you couldn't use that pulse gun to effectively knock down the drone trade. You couldn't, because you had to have a person standing there with the pulse gun every single day of their lives. So it just felt weird. It felt like, you know, you were hired to do something and you kind of didn't solve the problem. So I don't know. And then there was the whole, you know, shooting drone thing, like one drone that had a gun, which, okay, they exist, it happens. But, I mean, first of all, the first thing we saw them shoot was Sylvester. And the drone was so crappy, or I guess the person who was, you know, driving the drone was so crappy that they shot directly at Sylvester, who was lying on the ground, immobile, and not one bullet hit. Not one. That's like stormtrooper level of bad, okay? That's ridiculous. It's silly. The same thing with Cade. Like, as much as I love that scene, because Cade was, you know, this is Terminator levels of awesome here. He was so badass in that scene where he just took the drone out in one shot. But the drone couldn't get a shot in him. It was just like aiming at the ground. I'm like, are you not trying to kill this man? You should be trying to kill this man. Otherwise, just don't bother. Like, not one bullet hit. Instead, it hit Sanchez, who was like inside the car, and I still don't know how they hit him, you know, in his abdomen. That physics does not compute here. So like that kind of thing I just didn't care for. I like the idea of like taking down drone delivered drug trade. You know, I like that idea. I just think they went about it a totally weird and non-conclusive way. Like, they didn't solve anything. And then they didn't even tell us why the heck that drone was so special. You know, the one they had to go pick up. It's like, oh, I am immune to your pulse gun. And then it just flies off. And then they pick it up, and then they don't even tell us why it was immune. Like, what was so great about that drone? How could it be immune to a pulse gun? It's a machine. It should be. It shouldn't be. Like, it should. It doesn't. I don't even care. I did like, however, the interaction between the team. I don't like that Paige had to stay behind to just like figure out the Toby situation. That's like, you're not using Paige all that much. I did, however, like just Toby and Happy in general. Just, they were great. Sylvester was great too. I mean, he had the best lines, let's face it. When he was arguing with Happy about, you know, who was going to put in the sponge. That was so funny. And just the whole procedure, Toby guiding Happy through the procedure, that was really great. I loved how Toby just, you know, revealed to everybody that he and Happy were together, like on the soapbox or whatever, and Happy's like, if you don't get off that thing, I'm gonna break up with you anyway. And just the entire thing. I love the way he spoke to her when he was telling her how to do the procedure, and I like that it's still not perfect. Like I said, Toby gets a little crazy, so of course he would like sabotage himself by putting a tracking device on Happy's phone. And of course Happy would be pissed off about that. But I like that they kind of work through it, and Happy's like, you ever do that again? I don't have to break up with you because you'll be dead. And Toby's like, okay, I get it. He learned his lesson. Hopefully he won't track anything of hers again. And I like that he started buying stuff on the corporate card. As revenge for Walter being a jerk. I love that. And I did like that in the end Walter, I guess, learned the lesson and has to figure out how to deal with them being together now and working together now. I mean, I just hope that they don't completely undo that progress in the next episode. That's the thing. Like, I love Walter learning lessons. I love when he starts understanding emotional things. I just hate it when the next episode they completely undo what they did. So, I mean, it was an okay episode. I would have liked it a lot more if they hadn't had Walter take 2 steps back again. But it was okay, and I love Toby and Happy, or like he said, what did he say? Quintus? I don't use ship names, so I don't know, but I guess the fans have probably been using that one for a while. Quintus. I love that he used that. I love them. So any episode that has to do with them, I'm all in. I just wish they didn't have to make Walter take 2 steps back just to add drama. I'm kind of tired of them doing that, so that kind of tainted my enjoyment for a while. Other than that, it was a decent episode. There were things I liked, there were things I didn't like. But mostly just that one thing that really bothered me. So that's probably what you're gonna see in my my rating on the website. So if you wonder why I gave it a low or medium rating, it's probably just because of that. Because I feel like the writers are just not doing Walter any good in that way. So hopefully, because I'm an eternal optimist, they will keep making progress with him from now on. Hopefully with Paige, because they've been stretching that out for a long time. I like that Kate called him out in it, by the way, and nobody even denied it. So he's like, yeah, you take risks for Paige too. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, well, nobody denied it. That's good. So yeah, I just hope they keep moving forward with Walter rather than, this back and forth thing that I really hate. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my review. And as usual, be sure to visit our website at thegeekypub.com. We have reviews not just for previous episodes of Scorpion, but also for other TV shows, books, movies, games. We have a ton of stuff in there, so be sure to visit, browse around, you'll find something you like. And also, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's usually where our reviews go up first. Even before they hit the website, most of the time they're up on YouTube. So if you don't want to miss anything, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's the ticket. And that's it from me today. I will see you guys in my next review. Bye.